Good morning, good afternoon, and good evenings. Thanks for this chance. On this occasion, I would like to explain a little bit of the bilingual educations because I have been training bilingual systems in some schools in Medan. It's been more than 5 years, so there
Yung
have been some
cewek
schools who apply bilingual systems at the schools, and this is one of the innovations made by by the schools to have more students, and especially for having talented students. Okay, bilingual education is the program is meant to help the students for 3 or 4 years until. Oh wait, yeah, sorry. There is technical issues. Bilingual education involves teaching academic content in 2 languages. It means, for example, in my country, Indonesia, to apply bilingual educations, our teachers still have a chance to use Bahasa Indonesia and then mix into English. Why? Because sometimes our teachers are not fluent to use English, so that is why we have more times to train them to apply bilingual systems in the classroom in a native and secondary language with varying amount of each language used in accordance with the program model. So, like I trained before, the teachers are expected to master or to understand the material they are going to teach to the students by mixing the languages. Sometimes they open the sessions by using English in the simple way, good morning, how are you? Apakah kamu sudah mengerjakan PR-mu, for example? So this ability is expected for teachers who are going to implement bilingual systems in the school. And as other language is one is essential is a medium of schooling or intercommunications. So English, as we know, for the curriculum KTSP a few years ago, some schools, for example, in Medan had applied bilingual system. But about the results, I don't know. But only for national plus schools that can be applied, that can apply bilingual systems at the schools, and they get success in applying that system. Because of what? Because they have the rules. They can apply bilingual systems as the language that can be used. Sometimes maybe in the national plus they can treat three languages like Bahasa Indonesia, Mandarin, and English. But it depends on the situation in the schools. Hence, for national development, of course, if I talk about the 21st centuries, communication is one of the most important to be had by the teachers, by students, especially generally by the people. Why do I say that? Because every day, we are going to communicate with our friends, with our family, and many more. So this is one of the social responsibility, and try to interact with the social area. We are going to use the language in these terms, especially in the schools. We are going to use English as a tool to communicate with our teachers, with the students, and sometimes with the parents. And how about the program? Is meant to help the students for 3 or 4 years until it's determined. According to my experience, okay, more than 3 years, the schools can be applied successfully the bilingual system because of what? Because we try based on the data that I get until now, that 2 or maybe 3 times in a week, we are going to train all the teachers to be able to speak English well. Especially, we focus on the English for teaching. Sometimes they are able to communicate with the teachers and how to open the class, how to teach, and how to conclude the materials that they have taught before. So most oral curriculum content is learned through more than one language. For KTSP curriculums, the textbooks is divided into 2 systems by using writing for Indonesian and English. But due to the time or due to the situations in our country, because the curriculum has been changed a year, maybe 2 years, once a year, and sometimes. So this is the problem that our curriculum cannot teach well how to use appropriate curriculum. So for today, 2030 curriculums, there is no bilingual books that published by Professor, but only for textbooks that can be imported from the overseas. And reason for bilingual education is acquiring language of wider official communication. I know that English is the global tool of communication that can be used by many people in interacting with many people from the overseas. As the global interdependence of required the ability to function in more than one language. I know for one person who is able to master one than or more than one language, I think she or he is very talented. For me, especially, I can master more than 3 local languages and then English and Bahasa Indonesia. At least I can be able to speak more than 5 languages, local, national, and international. So based on this data, we are going to we are going to improve our speaking skills, our communication skills. So that is why we are able to speak English well. We can talk with the others who come from different background of life. And the goals of the bilingual education as the main purpose of the program is to teach English as soon as possible. For example, before accepting new students, for example, new academic year, in Indonesia, the new academic year started from July every year. In the middle of July, the students can enter and then join the curriculum and then can learn at school. So this is one of the innovations that can be done by the teachers who are going to improve themselves, how to become a professional teacher by mastering English. I know that English is very hard for Indonesian teachers because of what? Because this is the situations. Even though they could learn English since they were from the kindergarten level, even though they graduated from the S1 or Bachelor of Art degree, but sometimes we still can find out that some graduates are not able to speak English well. What is the problem? The problem is because they are seldom to speak English well, about the curriculums, about the rules or the language policy. I see from the curriculum right now that for primary schools, English is not the main subject. Okay, but this is like extracurricular. How come? Because in the primary schools in our country, it will be passing 6 years. So if the students are able to learn English for 6 years, it means they are able to communicate. So as the standard of the teaching process, based on my opinion and based on my observations, the students are expected to memorize all the words, not expected them how to speak English well. So that is why they are able to know English based on the English grammar, but they are afraid to speak English well. This is the greatest problem in my country. Even though maybe for the Thailand, for example, it's about the Thailand and many more, but I will talk about the situations. So language policy, okay, is not set up by our government. So that is why there is no good policy how to motivate, how to help the teachers in implementing bilingual education and maintain the native language and culture with while children learn English. Of course, based on the data I got from many sources that a good age or maybe from the students, okay, they are very suitable to learn English. If they have been adults, I think it's very hard to teach them a language because from the childhood stage, they can memorize many words. They can communicate with their family, their teachers, many more. So a good chance, since from the kindergarten level, they are expected to be able to speak English by designing the good material. So not by memorizing, but how to make them be able to speak English well. I have many students because I'm an English lecturer. Even though I teach English speaking class, so it's very hard for them. I always change the methods how to teach English speaking class, but they guess that my assignment is their troubles, their problems, because I invite them, especially in teaching English speaking class. I don't need to write down many more of the theories, but I would like to invite them to be able to speak English well. So there are some types of the bilingual education programs. The first one is transitional bilingual education. On these occasions, students usually receive some amount of native language instructions so that they not fall behind in their literacy. For example, how to open the class, how to say hello, how to give the questions to the teachers, how to welcome the teachers, how to interact with the student and other students. So the teachers expected that all the students will be familiarized with some sentences or maybe questions in English, so they are able to communicate with the others. And for immersion, For immersion, for examples, in this program, all of the students' instructions is in English. For example, how to ask the questions, how to answer. For example, Budi, present miss. So that will be familiarized to the students that they can understand sometimes if the teachers call their names, if the teachers ask them, so the students can be able to understand all the sentences or questions delivered by the students. Students are typically in this program from 1 until 3 years. In Indonesia, we can call like not kindergarten, but maybe PAUD or maybe uh, yeah, before primary, before kindergarten levels, or maybe daily needs many more. Okay, once excited from the program, students no longer to receive any second language. In Indonesia, English is still a foreign language. It's very different than Singapore and Malaysia or Philippines. So if we are going to compare the ability of the Malaysia people and then Singapore and Philippines, I think three of the countries have yes, better ability in speaking English for the data. Because of what? Because I think that sometimes it comes from the language policy approved by our government. Next. Okay. Yeah. Apalagi jaringannya ya. And the next one, late exit bilingual education, also called maintenance. It can be applied into the K5 or K6, as similar to transitional. Student learns literacy and contents areas in their native language. Okay, they can learn something by using Bahasa Indonesia and then can mix into English. Because, however, their transition to interaction in English is more gradual than in transitional. We expected that all the students are be able to be are able to speak English well based on the subjects that the teachers are going to deliver. And they continue to receive instructions in their native language throughout the elementary school. It's very hard for us. For example, they enter a primary one, and after that we speak English well, and then by delivering full English, so it's very hard because they are going to adapt themselves to be able to speak English well at the school. Students usually receive 40% of their instructions in native language and 60% in English. So this is the percentage how to be able to master English according to the situations of our students. And dual or two-way immersions in these programs, two types of students are enrolled in the same classroom or program. So typically students in the first grade receive 80 until 90% of their instructions in native language. So how to combine? Like I said before, bilingual system is not, it's not means that we are going to speak English well, to speak English fully, but we are going to mix into Bahasa Indonesia in my country and then in English as a general communication in our classroom. And 10 until 20% of their instruction in other language. You can imagine, for example, in my countries, because all the students come from different backgrounds of life or society, because in this country, there are many ethnics. So that is why we try to adapt what language is very suitable to be applied at the school. So this is the responsibility of the teachers who are going to speak English well, who are going to teach, who are going to deliver the materials. And if we talk about the bilingual education, there will be some benefits by applying this techniques. The first one is preserve children's sense of pride in language. How comes? Yeah, because they are able to speak English well. After leaving the school and then they meet their parents, they are going to speak English well to motivate their family. So allow them to more freely in English language dominant society, while retaining an important link to their cultural and linguistic heritage. So because English is a part of the linguistics, so it means we are going to motivate, we are going to, yes, motivate and then improve or increase the quality of the students to be able to speak English well. Hopefully that the system of bilingual education can help the students in improving their ability in the communications, especially in English. And the next one, there are also economic advantages in bilingual fluency and literacy. Why? Many students pay higher salaries to their bilingual employees. Why? For example, I know that many Indonesian teachers is very talented, but the problem is, how do they speak English? Do they have good English or not? So this is the question. If they are going to teach in at the national plus schools, it means the teachers or the candidate of the teachers must be able to speak English well. If they are not able to speak English well, okay, like Mr. David explained before, do you know the salary of another teachers in my country? Sometimes 300,000 rupiahs. If we are going to calculate, maybe it's almost $20 per month. This is the reality, $20 US dollars per month. So how to be able to professional teacher? The payment or the salary they will get only 300,000 rupiah, or for US dollar only $20. So this is the problem. How can we teach well? So to innovate ourselves, to develop our skills, how to get a better job related to educational field is by innovating, by improving our skills. One of the skills that will be held by the teachers is English proficiency. That's why all the teachers are going to develop it, even though if they have less time to speak English well, trust me, they are not able to speak English well, because speaking related with the practice or exercise, how come or how they can speak English well. And okay, in an increasingly global society, the ability to speak and write in several languages is becoming necessary to effectively compete in job market. I know that by having good English, you can compete with other graduates. If you have good English, you can go to overseas. If you have good English, you can look for a job at overseas. So this is the chance. So hopefully that all the teachers, especially from the Indonesia country, can be able to develop themselves to be able to speak English well, because that this is the era. Every teacher must be able to be competitive persons, because this is a digital era. English is not a choice, but English is a must if you want to become a more professional teacher. I think that's all for my presentations. Thank you, and back to our moderator. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rudy Salam, for giving us such informative and interesting presentation. Now, we allow the audience to freely ask questions about the presentation. Any questions? If there's no any questions, I will conclude the presentation from Mr. Rudy that bilingual education is a technique teaching academic content into language in a native and secondary language with varying amounts of each language used in accordance with the program model. The program is meant to be help the student until it's determined that she or he can successfully handle academic work entirely in English. There are also have for types that can improve that bilingual education programs. It depends of us which one we will use for it. Thank you.
Miss Maria, Miss Vinka,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, yes, please.
Actually, I raised my hand. Can you see on my screen? Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. I'd like to ask Mr. Rudy about his experience in coaching bilingual classroom. Yeah. So from your presentation, I have heard that you have done it for several times. Of course, as a coach, you have any evaluations, yeah? So I'd like to know about your evaluation. So from your numerous coaching, what can you resume about the I mean the result, the effectiveness of bilingualism in your mentoring school? Thank you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, you're audible.
Am I audible, Mr. Freddy?
Yes, yes, you're
Okay, thank
audible.
you, Mr. Freddy. Mr. Freddy is my classmate when we were at the S2 programs. Okay, the data are based on my experience in conducting or training bilingual systems. Okay, I have observed that the first time, because you asked me, right, how to evaluate, okay? The first one, for example, if the numbers of the two teachers in one school, for example, is about 30, okay? So we have a plan, for example, at the schools for the next academic year, for grade 7 consists of four classes, okay? So how to train the bilingual class. So our target is to make 2 classes for bilingual class, bilingual class, okay, sir? And this target, okay, we invite all the teachers, especially to teach the grade 7. So there will be, for example, 24, okay, 24 teachers. We invite them to join our class. After joining our class, I will give a pretest as an evaluation to invite them whether they are able to join the class or not. Okay, and the first one, after that, for grade 7, I group them. I made them into one group. So there will be 2 classes. The first one for main classes, main class, and the second one as a not main class, but even though this is the system that I made after creating the course design. Okay, I get 30 teachers. So these 30 teachers are expected to be able to teach English. So how about the percentage? So 25 for main teachers, for support teachers after teachers. The first one by making the general English by introducing. After 1 month, I designed the material for teaching. How to open the class, how to teach well by using bilingual system, how to conclude, how to design the materials, how to design the slides. So this is responsibility. Your question. How is the result based on my observations? I have applied this bilingual system. I can get more than 80% that the
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rudy. There's any questions?
Yes. Ready?
Any question? Oh, Mr. Mrs. Wangro, please.
Okay, thank you. My name is Swang Rorika. I am a science teacher. My question is, what are the basic things that must be prepared for a school institution that wants to open a bilingual class? Like our school, sir, we want to open the bilingual class for this year. Thank you.
Okay, am I audible? Okay, am I audible? Okay, I'm going to answer these questions. The reality, for example, one school is going to open or maybe to open the class for bilingual systems, and the parents are afraid to invite or maybe to make their kids to be able to join that bilingual class. The reality is suppose that English is very hard. So how can they learn something or maybe one subject by using English? Like I said before, the first one is by promoting the system of our government, the educations in our country, and especially in our schools. So by introducing the program of our schools, by socializing to the family, to the parents, and many more, trust them, make them trust to you. The first one, that the system of bilingual situation is not make the students to be able to have full English, but how they are able to speak English by mixing bahasa Indonesia and bahasa Inggris or English. So the student is not supposed to be able to speak English well, but the materials sometimes the teacher is able to teach by bahasa Indonesia and then by using English. So like I said before, if we have innovated, if we have developed the quality of our class or our schools, trust me that the parents will allow their kids to enter for bilingual situations, a bilingual class. Based on my experience, one of the private primary schools in Medan, even though that they changed the payments of the school fee, the parents, they guess that this is not a problem. The reality is that the teachers or the schools can improve the quality of their kids or the students. I think that's all.